everyone. Welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, and it contains the prophetic book of Zion where I get my name and authority, which comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament, from the Hebrew Bible. Today we're doing the 20th part of the 27th chapter of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the 24th chapter of the book of Zion. And we're going to take up where we left off last time. Because to God, to them, we are all Jews. When Abraham instituted the circumcision, God made a covenant with Abraham and all of his offspring, along with any and all who chose to become part of the family by becoming circumcised. So to God, all families whose men's foreskins are removed are Jewish by right. So every male who converts to Zion, whose foreskin remains, will enact this ancient rite. Um, Sorry guys. I have to follow the laws of Abraham too. All Zionite males will be circumcised because as a Jew, it's required. I understand too that it was instituted for health reasons. Apparently, it is a Neanderthal trait that was necessary in primitive times but has since lost its purpose. It now is just a means to infection because um, because the Grey wanted a means to identify those humans who were Jewish by birth or by choice, they chose this visible alteration that the human population could safely do no matter how primitive. A visual alteration that could be chosen by will and not be a genetic marker. That way, all Grey would have to do would be to check the male's dick and see if they were Jewish or not. It's a way to identify us from above. The Grey could have easily chosen a unique trait to Abraham and tagged it in a gene sequence. By altering the genes of the Jewish people, they could have easily identified the entire Abrahamic line. But the Grey wanted every man to have the choice to become tagged. Genetic markers only work to isolate a single family line. The removal of a foreskin, on the other hand, ensures that every family would have to choose to be recognized by a unique visible means. So, in the eyes of Grey, all males who are circumcised are Jews. They are identified as being descended from Abraham. And I must ask all of you men who are Jew by right, if in God's eyes you are one people, how can you justify your hate for each other? You are each and every one of you a Jew in God's eyes. After all, whose opinion really matters anyway? In the end, the Greys? No man has the right to deny God. You do so at your own peril. Man does not have the means to overcome God's will. We humans are weak and defenseless to God's will. God alone has the right to say, He is of my family. So to be circumcised is to hate or reject another who is circumcised is to defy God's will. And yes, Allah is God. Yahweh is God, and Jesus loved God. Jesus was never God. God, or God, threefold God. But all who know and love Jesus also love Grey. All who are circumcised are of the family of Abraham, no exceptions. So get over your hate, guys. We must unite the family of Abraham, so that we may all take our part in the salvation of life on earth. We must put aside our ancient family feuds. We must embrace strangers who seek to become part of the family. We must all honor our father Abraham because we are all of his children, by blood or by choice. We are Jew. Bible passage. For thus saith the Lord unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbath, and choose the things that please me, and that take hold of my covenant. Here the Grey are saying just how far they are willing to go to honor their vow to Abraham. Even eunuchs, who no longer have balls or testicles, but who are circumcised, are Jewish. Even a man who can't have kids can be a Jew in full honors. The rite of circumcision is all inclusive. So you, as a Jew or being of Islam, have no justification for your hate of your brother, and all Christians, by descent from Jesus, are a Jew. You're Jewish. One family, one trait to identify you all. If you're circumcised, you're a Jew. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is a fact of the rite of passage of Judaism. And you should all be damn glad for it, too. Jesus can't save you, but he had made you part of the family. Ishmael got a shitty deal, but that had to be so that Islam could become his legacy. Would you take him from your lineage? And Israel, you most of all should humble yourselves before the great. You rejected the priesthood. You rejected God. You forced the entire history we endured on us because you wanted to be just like everyone else. So, my wayward brothers, be glad the Grey didn't treat you like you've treated each other. Because if they had, we would all of us be human animals and plants would be on a death descent into a hellish future that none of us can survive. If the Grey were like us humans, they would have simply gone Hollywood on us. We wouldn't stand a chance against the Grey. So be very glad that the Grey are better than we are. Because not only will the entire family of Abraham now be the salvation of life on earth, we will be joined to every living human that has the will to survive and the intelligence to know that our ancient alien gods are our best hope for survival. The family of Abraham was given the covenant of salvation for the entire planet of Earth. That's why we were created, to ensure the survival of all life. Bible passage. Even to them will I give my house, and within my walls a place, and a name better than the sons and of daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. So the Grey are telling us Jews that everyone, Jew or non-Jew, are to be saved. Abraham's children, the entire family, is charged with saving everyone else who chose to be saved. We will all be given an equal place in Zion and the society of the Grey. Even eunuchs and infidels are to be saved. The ark in the mountains of the world will be open to all humans. No one who is willing to abide by galactic law will be accepted. Our sons and our daughters and their sons and their daughters will be saved. No one will be turned away, but all must take part in the covenant. So, to defy the covenant is to defy yourself. The new covenant, the one that will give us new names, everlasting names that won't be cut off, this covenant is our entry into intergalactic society. We agree to abide by universal law. We agree to give up our use of money and war. We adopt the social order of the universe, and we become a united planet, the planet Zion. Zion is our new name. Interplanetary rule is the new covenant. Bible passage. Also, the sons of the strangers that join themselves to the Lord to serve him, and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servants. Everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and taketh a hold of my covenant. This specifies that the covenant of Abraham still stands. Sabbath is still a thing. It always will be. It's a covenant, a perpetual agreement. As long as we priests keep the Sabbath and don't corrupt it or change it, we are protected by it, just as the new recruits are. The new recruits are those who convert to Zion. They too must honor the Sabbath. They too are part of the covenant. This refers to the Zionite conversion to the priesthood. We are the sons and daughters of the strangers who seek to serve God on high. We will take a hold of the ancient covenant and institute our own Sabbath. Our Sabbath will be the ancient Sabbath, a party to celebrate the threefold God. We will do the sacrifice as in ancient times to show the gray we are not polluted. We follow the ancient covenant as directed. In modern terms, the sacrifice of one animal can provide stem cells to create enough meat to feed the population of the entire planet. Science can use the genetic material to create non living flesh that doesn't require inhuman or unviable methods to maintain vital nutritional life samples. But life samples must be maintained so a single sacrifice can feed us all. And who is more human than a priest? If a living being must be sacrificed, only a priest should bear that burden, because to a Zionite, priests all living beings are sentient and considered a fellow living soul. To take a life is to violate the highest law, do no harm. So if harm must be done for health reasons, then the priest, who is himself the servant of life, should bear that sin, and with love and reverence for all, do what must be done and live with the burden of it. We will do this necessary evil. It is our job to serve, to do the things that must be done for the good of all. That is what we become when we do drugs. Priests who know firsthand the true nature of life and reality. We are made to serve. The drugs make us that way, to know what is needed and to be willing and able to do the hard things for others, even the necessary evils. That is the covenant of Zion, to be the servants of both God, the threefold God, and humanity. In return, we get to do what we love more than anything else, to do our drugs, and in the name of our threefold God given drugs. We gladly serve both God and human. That is who we strangers who join ourselves to God are. We are the servants of the threefold God. That is our Zionite covenant. Bible passage. Even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. This is the passage that set me on a 5-year course of study into all known religious texts. I literally read and studied every sacred practice on earth. It totally changed me. It opened up so much spiritual knowledge. If you say you love God and have only read one sacred text from one religion, you're a fool. Only by reading all of them can you get a true sense of the wonder of life. Try it. This passage is an invitation to read all sacred texts. Only when all religious people have united in God will the struggle of faith end. Each sacred text from all established religions has a unique set of rituals and an understanding of their doctrines that combined these create a much deeper understanding of God, spiritual matters, and our mutual fate. We must combine the knowledge of all religious doctrines to understand the deeper truth hidden by the fragmentation of information. Only then will we all realize that there is only one true ancient God, the aliens. This knowledge will unite the religions, and we will truly have our house of prayer for all people. And there I'm going to start for this session, and we'll take up next time where I left off. Until then, may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. May they teach you right from wrong, and may you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Be the joy, people. Stay happy and high. Know that I love you. I'm doing all I can to bring this into being, to make it real. And soon you'll see the results of it. So until then, I'll say later, because I'll never say goodbye.